There's a growing divide among some living in St. Catharines about how best to handle the homeless encampments that dot the city, with one side calling on the province to provide better supports and the other asking for it to invoke a controversial measure that would uproot them entirely. Roger Collins joins us now with the details. What can you tell us, Roger?
Adam, I went down to St. Catharines today and spoke with several residents, including one who lives in a tent, about this controversial measure. Here's what I learned. Winter has arrived in southern Ontario, and for the many people living on the streets of St. Catharines, survival has never been more challenging.
Oh, it'd be basically impossible to move right now, you know, and in this weather, and there's nowhere to go move.
Amid a housing crisis, many of them have nowhere else to go.
Well, you know, it's very hard to find a place to live right now. The rent is insane, like triple the price it was. And, you know, we have just even if you have the money, you can't get a place because you have to have good credit.
But this struggle is now at the center of a heated debate.
If there is an encampment, that comes with a whole host of issues, debris, behavioral issues, things like that. So I can imagine why someone would have some issues with it, and I think it's important that we have a whole host of supports around those encampments and those people who are in need.
A petition launched by one resident is calling on the government to invoke a notwithstanding clause, a measure that would grant municipalities the lawful ability to relocate encampments.
We have found syringes, crack pipes, knives, human feces, spent condoms throughout our neighborhood.
In 2023, the Ontario Superior Court of Justice ruled that in some cases, the removal of a homeless encampment would violate a person's charter rights, a measure that Rob McConnell says forgoes his.
And because of the court ruling, everything had to stop because, according to the charter, you know, they were protected and they were allowed to stay where they were. However, what somebody forgot, Roger, was that we too are protected by the same charter. We too have our rights. And when people start threatening residents, when people start committing criminal acts in our neighborhood on our property, this is where it got personal.
Meanwhile, another group of residents in St. Catharines have voiced their concern too, but say the notwithstanding clause, which sets aside the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, isn't the way to go about it.
I mean, these are people's lives that we're talking about. So I think I would encourage folks that are buying into that idea that this is a problem that can be lifted up and put somewhere else and out of sight, out of mind. I would encourage those folks to really think about what the long-term effects of that will be.
For those living on the margins, the stakes couldn't be higher. The debate for them may be political, but for others living on the streets, it's a matter of survival.